Today we explore Bhagwan Shiva as the Shivalingam. RRDS Jagaran, Shiv Raatri, the night of all nights of Shiva, which is known as Shiv Raatri, it is tonight. And tonight, Hindus around the world or Sanatanists around the world don't just perform worship to Bhagwan Shiva as the human form, or at least the human understanding of Shiva, but Shiva as the Shiva Lingam. And we should understand tonight what or who is this Shiva. The word Shiva literally translates to that which is not. Shiva means that which is not. But from the human standpoint, it is very difficult for us to explain something that is not. Isn't that so? The human mind works on the basis of that which we can comprehend with the five senses, the karmindriyas and the jnanindriyas. We understand that this world is a world of duality. And therefore tonight, if I tell you, every one of you here tonight and on radio, please do not think of a pink elephant. Please do that for me. Do not think of a pink elephant. What do you think about? Pink elephant, isn't it? The more I tell you, don't think about something, the mind latches on to exactly that which I say, don't think about. Isn't that so? So the mind, it is like that chanchal instrument, that tool, that many people have great difficulty in holding that leash. You see, Bhagwan Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, that was his entire discourse to Arjuna in the Mahabharata war. In the battle of Kurukshetra, he is teaching Arjuna how to take control. And therefore, unless we can understand and take full control over the mind, only then we can appreciate this concept of Shiva, that which is not. And therefore, as we did 2 nights ago in the Shiv Mahapuran Yajna, we spoke about Shiva as three qualities. Bhagwan Shiva as the embodiment of, what was he? First, he was kind. Jai Girijapati Deen Dayala, Sada Karat Santan Pratipala. Victory to Bhagwan Shiva, who is the embodiment of kindness. So we put an attribute to Shiva and we call Shiva kindness. I would love to be the embodiment of Shiva in the lives of those that I touch. I must be someone who is kind. Would those be the words that are shared at my eulogy? As you all know, the eulogy is sometimes very, very beautifully written. Sometimes falls right because it tells you all the things good about the person and not the full truth about the person. And therefore, Jai Girijapati Deen Dayala. How can we establish not just the eulogy, but the words that would be spoken when the individuals who are coming to our funerals, those who would be driving in their cars, what would they be saying about us, Jenny? When they're lighting the pyre, what would be the side conversations happening during our funeral? Would it all be Jai Girijapati Deen Dayala? Or Jai Krishen Ramdeen Deen Dayala? Would it all be he was a person of kindness? And therefore tonight, we understand Bhagwan Shiva as the attribute of kindness. The second attribute it was simplicity. It is difficult to be simple, don't you know? Because this human being, we have been calibrated, we have been conditioned to establish that we are different and we are better and I am separate from you. And the ego is literally shouting, not in one ear but in both ears, saying, hey, you are different from everybody else. And therefore, when the ego takes control of defining who we are, we place so much importance on the social mask. You know what a social mask is? A social mask is, I am Pandit. I am a singer. I am a supervisor. I am educated. I am tall. Am I tall? Baba check again. And like this, anytime we start differentiating who I am a good person. For me to be a good person, good persons exist because there are bad persons. Remember, the mind operates on duality. We cannot appreciate good unless we can fathom ulta, the opposite. Not so good. We can't appreciate sweet unless we can have an appreciation for bitter or sour. And therefore, when we say that I am simple, that is a very easy statement to make. But from the internal dialogue that exists within us, it is sometimes much more difficult to apply. And the second attribute of Shiva, if we are to give an attribute to Bhagwan Shiva, in the very beautiful words of the Shiv Chalisa that we chanted this evening, the second attribute, it was the quality of simplicity. And the third quality, if you were to distill and create the genesis of the Shiv Chalisa, the third attribute, it is beautiful, unconditional giving. And without getting into these three attributes, I want to show you in such a simple way that when we think of Bhagwan Shiva, we see that very beautiful manifestation, the murti that has been stapan on the main pedestal of the temple. We close our eyes and we see Bhagwan Shiva, don't we? We get lost. We become intoxicated with love, seeing that very beautiful form. As Vandana and Samantha told us, he was Neelakant. And we see Bhagwan Shiva as trapping the halahal in his throat. And we think that this is a very beautiful manifestation of Shiva. But all of these devotees, children, are all attributes of Shiva that does not fully do justice to who Shiva is. You see, if Shiva is that which is not, the most beautiful manifestation of Shiva that says that which is not, it is the form of Shiva that we perform. Millions, at least 2 billion devotees around the world tonight will be going to touch to get the darshan of Shiva and Shivalingam. We're told that we are all localized bundles of energy. Mics? We're all localized bundles of energy. I am a bundle of energy. Raju Bhai, you're a bundle of energy. Bari Ji, you're a bundle of energy. Loy Ji, bundle of energy. And this world, it is a constant or a dynamic exchange of energy. Right now, as we sit at the Railway Road Dharam Sabha tonight, we are exchanging each other's energy, aren't we? You see, when mud is turned into food, it is called agriculture. It is energy, isn't it? Everything comes from Suryanarayan Swami as the source of all energy. But let's not get too scientific yet, it's coming. But when we think about mud energy, mud is energy. Do you agree that mud is energy? Or earth? Is mud energy? I am not sure. Well, yes, I'm telling you tonight, every single atom in this world is energy. And we will show you Bhagwan in Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva at the atomic level in a little while. When earth is turned into food, we call it agriculture. When food is turned into energy, we call it digestion. Huh? And when stone is turned into God, we call it consecration. Stapna. Understand? It is all energy. Earth to food, agriculture. Food to energy, human energy. It's called digestion. But when we transfer or remove the energy of stone, which is the murti of Shivalingam, or the murti of the Devis and Devatas, when we move that energy and we perform pran pratishta, that is called consecration. We invoke life in that very beautiful form. Tonight, if I were to hold this flower, can you see this flower? You all can see this flower? Those devotees on Taj Radio, can you see this flower? Well, picture it in your mind. 2 days ago was Valentine's Day, right? This is a very beautiful rose. Beautiful red rose. If I were to take my hand and chant a particular mantra, and I energize this very beautiful red rose, picture it now, red rose, and I give it to you, you will actually feel the vibration of that mantra, the energy that I would have placed from my body to this red rose to you. But the thing about the rose is that it will not hold that energy for very long. You will feel the energy, you will feel the love that I would have put into it. You would feel it. But hold it for about 2-3 hours and you would notice that that energy will slowly dissipate. You see, there is something about the Shivalingam. There is something about the Shivalingam that makes it different from every other object in the world. Students, scientific minds, and adults who love curiosity, this is your night. Slide, please. If you look at the screen to my right, you would notice that this is a what? Children, what is it called? An atom. And an atom has many components, right? The atom has electrons, it has neutrons, it has protons, it has protons. Oh no, sorry, protons is for salad. Sorry, let's leave the protons out of it. So there are neutrons, electrons, and protons. Do you know that this concept that science defines as the atom, it is really taken, our Vedas describe this, even in the Puranas. When you read the Shiv Puran and the Ling Puran, it describes what this atom is. Well, I will tell you, the blue to the center, that is called the nucleus, the blue are called neutrons, and they represent Bhagwan Shiva. There is no polarity. It is not positive, nor is it negative. Bhagwan Shiva is the blue. He is the neutron. The red, it is the proton. And the proton, it is Bhagwan Sri Vishnu. The black that is rotating in the axis around, that black represents Brahmadev. You see? Brahmadev. Can you tell me what the lines that the electrons move around, what is it called? It is called Shakti, energy. You see, whenever this atom is in a neutral state, it is only when the protons and the electrons balance each other. It's a stable atom. But anytime Shiva moves from the state of neutrality, what happens? Kal Bhairav. You get the manifestation of Rudra avatar. You get the manifestation where he moves from that neutral state to become in a state of action. When the atom moves from a neutral state to one where it's offset, some would say it's an isotope and like this. But the concept of protons, neutrons and electrons represent Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Do you know why Brahma is on the electron? When two atoms come together, it is only then you can form a what, children? Atoms coming together form a molecule. Alright, molecule. Molecule. And it is only Brahmadev has the ability to create. Isn't that so? Brahmadev has the ability to create. And tonight, as I want you to think about this from a very simple, scientific standpoint, ask yourself, what does this have to do with the Shivalingam? What does this atom have to do with this Shivalingam? Well, this has everything to do with the Shivalingam. Because if this atom represents the balance of the polarity of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and the offset of the energy comes only when Shiva moves from that state of neutrality, I will help you to understand the blessing of tonight, where you stand before the Shivalingam or you sit before the Shivalingam. There is something special about tonight, because that blue neutron in the middle, he is vibrating, but he is vibrating to a very different energy. What is that? Let us chant tonight. Dhyayit Shambhu Nagavarinam, 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 Bam 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 Bhasma Vilepam, 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 Sham 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 Shankara Rupam, Sham 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 Shankara Rupam, Jayit Shambhu Nagavarinam, Jayit Shambhu Nagavarinam, Jayit Shambhu Nagavarinam, गौरी कंतं गौरी शरीरं गंगा शीर्षं गानविलोलं नंदी वाहने वंदितलोकं ध्यायते शंभो नागाभरणं ध्यायते शंभो नागाभरणं भास्करि तेजसं भवभयनाशनं वासुकी भूषणं वेद विचारं मनमते नाशन माधव पूजन ध्यायत शंभो नागाभरणं ध्यायत शंभो नागाभरणं नम 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 नगपति देहं मम 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 मंत्र सपूज्यं शम 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 शीघ्र प्रसन्नं अरे वम 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 वीरूपनेत्रं यम 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 यक्षसमित्रं हे सच्चिदानन्दं शीघ्र प्रसन्नं सच्चिदानन्दं शीघ्र प्रसन्नं सच्चिदानन्दं शीघ्र प्रसन्नं ध्यायत शंभो नागाभरणं ध्यायत शंभो नागाभरणं ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय बोलो ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हरि 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 महादेवा हरि 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 महादेवा बोलो हरि 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 महादेवा हरि 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 महादेवा हरि महादेवा 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 ओ हरि 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 महादेवा हरि 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 महादेवा बोलो हरि 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 महादेवा हरि 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 महादेवा बोलो हरि 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 महादेवा 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 बोलो हरि 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 महादेवा नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव प्रेम से बोलो श्री उमापति महादेव की उमापति महादेव की There is something unique about the shape of the Shivalingam. Anyone can tell me what is the shape of the lingam? The shape of the lingam it is. Some would say what? It is not spherical, it is not cylindrical, it is not a square, it is not a rectangle. What is it? It is elliptical. Some would say it's shaped almost like an egg, isn't it? Do you know that that's the divine, that's the cosmic egg? It is the cosmic egg. And when you understand the Shivalingam, scientifically, the shape of the Shivalingam is elliptical. For those of us who are in industry, they would tell you that if you want, Ravi Bhai will tell you, if you want to create a container that can hold high energy, the form that scientists have defined as having the minimal force per square unit it is the shape that is called exactly this, an elliptical shape. Because if you place a high pressure fluid or energy inside any other shape, it runs the risk of losing that energy through some of the endpoints. And therefore, the shape of the lingam, it is the only shape, I guarantee you this, it is the only shape that once the pran pratishta is performed on that Shivalingam, once the energy is invoked into that Shivalingam, that energy cannot leave. Do you believe this? Science has shown that the vibrating pattern of a Shivalingam, where the energy is infused into the Shivalingam, scientists have ways that they can shoot their instruments and they can tell you the frequency of everything around. Today, Ebola is very popular. Ebola, people can know at the airports now who has Ebola because everybody who's coming at the airport, they put a gun by your head that shoots your temperature. But do you know that even in the airports, they have cameras, infrared cameras, they can tell your body temperature. So if the camera sees you and you're red, more red than other colors, it suggests to them that this is a person of interest. And therefore, when the scientists, they measure the energy field around the Shivalingam, it is the only field, unlike the red rose, that after a couple hours or a couple days, that energy will lose, it will dissipate. The Shivalingam, scientifically, is the only energy holder that keeps that energy. For how long? For a lifetime. Do you know that even if you move the Shivalingam from where it is, even if you move the Shivalingam, you take it up and you move it from here and you put it in Shagwanas, the very spot that the Shivalingam exists now, when that pran pratishta and the chakras and all the right mantras were chanted in invoking the life energy in this Shivalingam, if you move the Shivalingam, the space that Shivalingam exists would maintain that very same energy. This is not storybook, my friends. What I am sharing with you, it is science as distilled from the Ling Puran. Here's another very beautiful slide that I would like to show you. The human body comprises different chakras. All of you know this, right? So the different chakras, this is what they are. So the Mooladhara chakra, it is at the bottom, and that chakra, that energy center, it is between the anal canal and the genitalia. That space between the anal canal and the genitalia, it is the Mooladhara chakra. And what that Mooladhara chakra, it is an energy that when that chakra is most active, we want to have food, something to eat, or we want to be like Kumkaran and we want to sleep. When that chakra is the only chakra that is active, or the energy is most predominant only at the bottom of our spine, to that place, that is what that energy brings about. The next one, it is the Swadhisthana chakra. And the Swadhisthana chakra, it is just above the genitalia, just above. And when that chakra is active, that person becomes very physical, wants to enjoy the physical senses. Sounds familiar? Think about your life growing up as a child. When you went into adolescence, didn't your hormone hijack your intelligence? That's when Swadhisthana chakra became active. Then it moves to the third, which is the Manipurna. The Manipurna chakra is just above the navel. And when that chakra is active, you become a doer. You always want to get things done. You can't sit down. Like Barry came, he's visiting from Okala, and Barry can't sit still for a moment. You tell Barry, tonight is Shiv Raatri, take a little 5 now. Barry walk in house. Barry measuring the yard. Can't wait, he can't sit, because by nature, his Manipurna chakra, because he's a doer, he can't sit still. And if you think about your life, if you are a person, Darshan, that you're always wanting to do something, the Manipurna chakra becomes very active. The other chakra, which is called the what? Anahat chakra. And the Anahat chakra, it is that chakra, that energy force, which is just at the middle of the rib cage, the top of the rib cage, where it meets that point, where the solar plexus, it is called the Anahat chakra. And that Anahat chakra, it is when you have your creative juices start flowing. You know, some individuals, they can sit here and they, in their mind, they can redecorate the entire Dharam Sabha. In their mind, they can sit here, like Bhai Raju, he can sit here, and while I'm talking, he's already creating a rag for Anahat chakra. Because the creative juice is there. You say something, and it triggers an abundance of thoughts that are creative, productive, constructive. That is the Anahat chakra. The next chakra, it is called the Vishuddha chakra. And the Vishuddha chakra, it is at the pit of the throat. You know, sometimes when Baba, you didn't puja, they would give you chandan in different places and you put in your throat. Why put in chandan in my throat, Baba? It is the Anahat chakra. Typically, when we put chandan, we should be putting chandan where there are the chakras. The chandan application, it is a stimulant that causes the chakra, the energy, to be stimulated, to be awakened. And the Anahat chakra, it is that individual who wants power. You know, there are individuals who are very powerful. I am not talking strong physical strength. Powerful by nature. You're an influencer. You make things happen. That's the Anahat chakra. The sixth chakra, it is the one on the center of the brow. It is called the Agnya chakra. JN in Sanskrit is Gya, right? So it's Agnya chakra. A little tilde on top. Huh? It is the Agnya chakra. And the Agnya chakra, it is the chakra on the center of the brow that brings about the energy of peace. One day I was giving this lecture on chakras and I said, you know, when your Agnya chakra is awakened and very alive and well, you enjoy peace. And one smart Alex said, Panditji, I want that to be open because I want to give everybody a piece of my mind. Not that kind of peace, different kind of peace. P-E-A-C-E, peace. That is the Agnya chakra. And the last, or the seventh chakra, which is on the top of the body, it is called the Sahasra chakra. And the Sahasra chakra, you know, when children born, they tell you, be careful with their what? Taru. That Taru, it is the energy point at the top of the head that is called the Sahasra chakra. When that chakra becomes awakened, you experience something that is called an explosive, unexplained ecstasy. It explodes. It is literally an explosive experience where you can't contain yourself. You will look at the lingam and you will laugh. You would look at the lingam and you will cry. You will experience a level of ecstasy, not from the emotional level, but from the depths of your being. You literally explode with unexplainable emotions that come from the depth of your being. And when these seven chakras are all awakened, do you know what that is called? When an individual has all seven chakras opened and awakened, you know what it is called? Not Shakti. It's called Shiva. You experience something that is called Shiva. But today I would like to give you a little secret, a little understanding. That most of the Shivalingams across the world, across the entire world, do you know, in the Babylonian culture, in the Mesopotamian culture, they have Shivalingam. They call it something else. I think they call it Praparas or something like that. But it is Shivalingam. Because in the European days, the kings understood the power of the Shivalingam and they kept it there. But every Shivalingam around the world, including RRDS Shivalingam, there's either one chakra or two chakras that is activated in that Shivalingam. Do you know what the RRDS two chakras are? One, it is the Agnya chakra, peace, and the second, what is the second one? Power. Seems very contradicting, eh? Power and peace. Those were the two significant chakras that were invoked in this Shivalingam. And around the world, there are no more than 5 Shivalingams where all 7 chakras are invoked and awakened. And when you stand before a Shivalingam, whether it's 1 or 2 or 7 chakras, when they are awakened, something happens. It is like taking a solution that is very, very sweet. You pour 4 or 5 big kalchul of sugar, and you stir that sugar into the milk. It becomes so very sweet. And you take 1 spoon of that sweetened milk and you put it in coffee, bitter tasting coffee. Coffee by itself, it is bitter, isn't it? And you take that very concentrated sweetened milk and you put it into the coffee. The coffee has no choice but to start experiencing sweetness. Can you imagine? That's a very simple example. When you sit before a being, and I'm saying being, whether it's a person whose 7 chakras are fully energized, that person is not like you and I. That person is an avatar. Individuals, or what seems to be persons where the 7 chakras are awakened to that level, it is called an avatar. But when there is no avatar, you experience the very same energy. Even if you don't believe in God, even if you don't believe in meditation, just sitting in the presence of that energy causes your little bitter cup of coffee to experience the sweetness that overflows from that source. And tonight, next slide please. This is what it looks like. Because we are literally that helix of energy. Because our energy, it is the red circle at the bottom. The purple, that is purple, right? Or violet. To the top, it represents that Agya Sahasra Chakra awakening, where you experience a state of ecstasy. But the green circle represents when you stand before that Shivalingam. Tonight, think of it. You're standing in front of a magical doorway. Tonight I want to also say something to you. Don't believe a word I said tonight. Don't believe absolutely a word that I've said tonight. But don't disbelieve it so much that you don't test it yourself. See what I'm saying? You see, if you believe what I'm saying, you would go to the Shivalingam and say, Baba, Krishna Arpanam, offer the Chandan, offer the Aarti. Maybe there is something there. Thank you, Lord. Shiv Puran says, even the devotees who were sinners, the prostitutes, the killers, the robbers of Brahmins, those who committed the worst of crimes, when they inadvertently, not wanting to pray to Bhagwan Shiva, you should ask yourself, is the Shiv Puran crazy? Is Ved Vyas Maharaj crazy? How is it that just by being near the Shivalingam on Shiv Raatri night, how is it that the hunter sat on a tree waiting to shoot a deer? You know the katha, I'm not giving you katha tonight. How is it that just by his sweat falling on the Shivalingam, how is it that by every time he shook the tree, thinking that a deer was coming and a bay leaf fell on the Shivalingam, how is it no love absolutely, and he got the blessings of the energy of the Shivalingam? How come Saumini, all of you remember Saumini? How come she killed an innocent calf that was crying and she ate the meat of it? How come when she came back as a Chandala, as a woman who belonged to a family who took care or disposed of dead bodies, how come not even a prayer, not even a jap, not even tap, nothing? How come Bhagwan Shiva was favorable towards her? Dear friends, it is all because of the night of Mahashivratri. Because this Shivalingam no longer becomes a Shivalingam on Mahashivratri night. It becomes a doorway. It becomes that green sphere that connects you. You're standing on one sphere, the human sphere, and on the other side, it is that explosive ecstasy waiting to occur. And no matter what your history was, my friends, no matter what you have experienced in your past, just by being in front of the Shivalingam tonight, I want you to test it. Don't just make an offering tonight. Experience. Think of that Shivalingam. As I am here, the Shivalingam is the doorway that gives me access to the other side. Because the energy on the other side, it is phenomenal. Dear friends, it is that same energy that causes galaxies to implode. Scientists call it the black hole, isn't it? Or the Milky Way. Galaxies disappear. And it is that same energy that causes, from a state of nothingness, it explodes almost from nowhere, and you see amazing, phenomenal experiences where galaxies are created. That's the power that you're standing before tonight. That is the power that causes the earth to rotate in its perfect pattern around the sun. All the planets around the sun, that is the energy that you're accessing tonight. That is the energy that causes our constellation, together with the other billions of constellations, to move in that. You see, look at the middle there. You see the pattern of the energy? It is a helix. It is not a circle. It moves like this. It moves like this. And that pattern, it is exactly how science has now gotten a glimpse of it. That is exactly how the constellations behave relative to each other. So the point I'm making tonight, what was the atom story about? If you understand the atom, the relationship between Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, you understand the cosmos. If you understand the relationship of the energy within every cell and every atom of your body, once you invest in what is called inner engineering, you will understand not only the physical body, but you will fully understand that which is on the other side of this doorway, the other side of this magical doorway that science can never fathom, but you will understand this entire cosmos. So tonight, devotees, as I conclude, I want you to go to the Shivalingam tonight with a different mindset. Think about what your life can be. As I said 2 nights ago, the scars in your life may have determined where you have come from and what you've experienced. But the scars can never determine who you can become. And when you stand before your Shivalingam tonight, know that who you want to become, that energy, the 7 chakras, we only have 2 here tonight. But if you have those 2 awakened in your life, and you know that on the other side of that magical doorway that is called the Shivalingam, you can access something that is so phenomenal that words cannot describe. The sinners become saints, and beautiful souls like you become one with Bhagwan Shiva. When death knocks on your door, death definitely will. She will come. And when she knocks on your door, the offerings that you make tonight on the Shivalingam gives you access to that energy when you drop this body. Prem se bolo Sri Umapati Mahadev ki, Umapati Mahadev ki, Umapati Mahadev ki Jai. At this time, we would make preparations in a few minutes to begin the first Pahar.